Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim. I'm coming to you from inside my office of my Toyota Tundra, AKA the Crusher. Today I want to talk to you guys about Social Security. I've made a lot of videos about collecting Social Security, and they got quite a few views. And it's been a while since I made one, so I thought I'd make an update. And it's 2024, and we got a few different, new things now that we can add to it, but it's still the same. It's still collect your Social Security day one at age 62. If you've never seen my videos, I invite you to go back and look at those. Or I'm going to say the same thing right here. And if you haven't ever watched my channel before and you're approaching the age of 62, or you're in your 50s and that's just a few years away, late 50s or something, then listen to what I got to tell you, because if you never considered this or thought about this, or you've heard taking it early is bad, or it's a penalty, or you don't get as much money, I'm here to squash that rumor. That is false. You will get more money if you collect early than you will later. They don't want you to collect early because the government doesn't want to give you Social Security for 15 or 20 plus years. They want you to get it as little as you can. They want you to continue to work and to pay income taxes into the system. They don't want to give anything. They just want to take. Make sense? I'm sure that part does. So why do they say you lose money, or you'll get penalized, or all that kind of business? Well, when I started collecting my Social Security at 62, prior to that, I thought the same thing. I thought, well, if I wait till 63 or 64, even before 67, my full retirement age, which is really 66 and 8 months, I could get even more, because you do get more for every month you postpone. Even if you wait till you're 62 and 6 months, you would get a little bit more money than you would at 62 on that check, but you would lose money because you didn't take 6 checks already. And let me explain how you lose money by waiting until your full retirement age. It is the craziest thing to do. And they've got everybody convinced, a lot of people convinced, and I'm convincing thousands the other way. And I got testimonies as the day is long from people that have thanked me for sharing this information. I get nothing out of it. I get nothing out of your Social Security. This is just because I want to help people to start living their life. You know why? Because when you're 50, you're not going to live to be 100, most likely. So you're already way past your halfway point of your life. You're actually way past, because the average lifespan is only 73 years old for a male in the U.S. You can Google that. And, some people don't even make it to that far. Some people go to 80 years old. But really, after you get to be 70 years old or 73, you're pretty old. And when you get to be 75 or 80, your life, I don't know what kind of quality of life that you expect you're going to have just because you're alive. It's not going to be the active life that you were at 50 or 60. You're going to be an older person. And you might even have to have a walker. You might have contracted or gotten some kind of sicknesses. You might have had a heart attack, and, you have diabetes. You get all these things that could happen that you could be living with in those years. A slow progress before you leave this world. It may not be, Jim Dandy all the way until the Lord calls you home and you simply go to sleep one night and don't wake up. That would be great. Live a great, healthy, young feeling life all the way till you're 80 or 90 years old, go to bed one night and the Lord calls you home, and that's it. But that's not the way it goes. It goes the way I just mentioned. A lot of people get sick, things wear out, they have heart attacks, and they go on with their life, but it's a lot less quality life. So while you have quality, and you're already way past your midpoint, because the midpoint is about 35 to 40. Because if the average age is 73, if you divide that in half, at 62 and collect your Social Security, which I'm a proponent of, you're already 30-something years, 25 years past your prime, past the midpoint of your life. How much more do you want to wait? How much closer to going home to heaven do you want to be before you start being retired and collecting Social Security? And it's ridiculous to think about waiting. It should be they give us Social Security at 55 because most people are dying a lot earlier and they won't have to pay us that much for very long because people are dying left and right. But they don't want to gamble on that. They make you wait to at least 62, and then they dangle that carrot on the end of the string, on the end of the stick, and they say, hey, if you wait 5 more years, a half a decade, and you become really old, where you're really close to, possibly dying, we'll give you 30% more. But what they don't tell you, it's a trick. It's like a card trick. The 30% is nothing. You lost a lot of money because you didn't collect every month for 5 years. Let me tell you, if you start collecting Social Security, the average check is about $1,500 to $1,700 a month at 62. What I get about the average to above the average. I don't get the highest, but I'm far from getting the least. Okay? I had some good earning years. They base it on your best 35 earning years. So with the it wasn't 1,700. We got the big bump 2 years ago of 8.7%. It was nothing last month. Starting in January 2024, we got 3.2%. Basically, what we've been getting for 40 years, with the exception of 2 years ago. So you really don't get much of an increase every year, and then they raise up your Medicare Part B. And then they start taking that out of you too at 65, and you go backwards another $200. So it isn't a lot of money. And the people that say, well, yeah, that's why I don't collect it because I couldn't live on it. Social Security says right on their website, this is not meant to support you. This is not even close to supporting you. It says that if you collect at 62, it might cover 49% of your monthly bills. If you wait till your full retirement age, it might cover 80 to 85% of your monthly bills. But it is no way going to cover most people's overhead every month. You must have other money, either a pension, savings, or you must work part-time. Most people are going to fall into category number 3 because everybody owes, the average person right now in 2024, in today's times, unfortunately, we used to have some savings. The average person owes 60 grand right now, $60,000. It was just released the other day. The average American owes 60 grand. So they don't have any savings. Some do, but not the masses. And pensions, not the masses. Most people worked menial jobs all their life, a little here, a little there, work for themselves, like myself. I got no pension. And but if you worked for a company and you stayed there in that same town and that same address and you worked there 20, 30, 40 years, yeah, you got you a nice little pension. And thousands, maybe millions, do have that. And kudos to you. Because between a pension and a Social Security check, you're doing pretty good. But if you want to work and you only have to work a little bit versus 40 hours a week at the prison job you have now, that's, overloading you with a big workload and asking you to do a lot more than you're getting paid for, and there's politics and there's drama, and then you have to pay taxes out of it, and then you have to pay a vehicle to get you there, the fuel for it. You got to have dry cleaning, a tire, lunch money, and you're paying for this medical insurance out of you. It's just like a grind. And then you come home and you get a paycheck every couple of weeks or once a month or even every week, and you owe the landscaper, the pool guy, your property taxes, your HOA fees, your mortgage, your 2 cars, your 3 credit cards, your kids' money, their gifts, Christmas time, this, vacations. It's always something. A new tire is needed on the car, a set of tires, brakes, maintenance. The list goes on and on and on. You have to work to make all these bills pay. But if you were to get rid of all that at 62 and your kids are grown and you sold your house and you get a little mobile home, an RV, a condo, an apartment, you roommate, you share with your spouse because they have an income too, and you downsize and you become more of a minimalist, and you get freedom to go off and do stuff and do what you want to do versus sitting there, just to pay this roof over your head and all that goes along with it. At 62 years old, with a little part-time job, making equivalent to what you're going to get on your Social Security, that's a game changer. And now you're able to stay up late at night, don't go to work the next day because you only have to work 2 or 3 days a week. You're putting in 20, 25 hours. You work at a golf course. You work in an office till lunchtime. You answer the phone for them in the morning. Maybe you picked up your own business. You became this person you always wanted to be while you worked, but because you had to go there and give them 40 hours of your life every week, you didn't have the strength of the time to do this handyman business. You're very smart. You know how to fix sinks and plumbing, or put up walls, and just do all kinds of stuff. You got skill. Well, now you can dedicate that to do that and do your own little thing, or help somebody, and they pay you and make some good coin, and you're doing what you want to do, and you're only working a little bit. It's a free life. And then you've got that whatever Wednesday it is when they give you your Social Security. They send you that free bonus check every month. I call it free money. It's the money you paid into your taxes every year, on your paychecks every week, to your Social Security. So get your money. Why would you want to let it just sit there and let them give it to somebody else because you died, or they told you they'll give you 30% more if you wait 5 more years? They're just trying to con you to get you out of collecting because they don't want to give it to you any longer than they have to. But you say that 30%, that's what they say. Yeah, you get more money. You don't get more money. I'm going to show you right here. The average person gets what I get. Okay, I get $1,700. But let's say it's $2,000, because I want to make the math very simple on this video just so you can understand. If you multiply $2,000 times 70%, that's $1,400. Why 70%? Because you're taking 30% out. Because $2,000 is what they say you're going to get at 67. So 30% less than that is $1,400. So $1,400 is what you would get, $600 less. Or wait 5 years to get only $600 more. So what does that total out to? Well, let me just show you right here. You get more money taking the 30% less over your life than you do waiting 5 years. All right? So in 5 years, if I take my $1,400, at 67 years old, I've already collected $84,000. The person that waited till they were 67 got nothing, just their job money. All right? At 67, they start collecting, but they got zero. I'm already $84,000 ahead of this person that says, now I'm jumping on the Social Security. Now let's go out 3 more years to 70, because that's another level that you can wait till to get even more money in Social Security. At 70 years old, me that collected at 62, I now got $134,400 in the bank, or that I've spent, that's come into my bank account. $134,400. The person that started collecting at 67, 3 years has gone by. They've collected $2,000 a month for 3 years. They now have 72 grand. 72 grand to $134,400. And they're 70 years old. So let's go out another 5 years to 75. Listen to this one. At 75, you're 2 years past the average age expectancy, and you're pretty old, both of us. I have collected since 62, at 75 years old, $218,400. The person that started collecting at 67, they got $2 grand a month, 24 grand a year. They're now up to $192,000. But there's still 18 and 8 is $26,000 behind at 75. You still haven't collected more Social Security up to 75 years old by starting at 67. So now let's go up 5 more years to 80. And 80 is pretty much going to be very close to the end of the life. You've already been doing nothing probably for the last 5 years, from 75 to 80, because you're just sitting around now. You're probably not even golfing much or anything. You could be. You're playing from the gold tees. I mean, not the gold tees, the red tees. That's not even the old person's tees. That's the ladies' tees. You're up there at the reds. And at 80 years old, collecting from 62, I have collected in Social Security $302,400. And the person that started at 67, and those last few years from 75 to 80, pulled ahead, finally got more than, made up what they didn't collect at 62 for 5 years, well, many years. They got $312,000. So $312,000 at the end of the road is what the 67 age person got, and $302,400 is what I capped out at if I only lived to be 80 years old. So the person that started collecting at 67 got 10 grand more. At the end of their life, they got 10 grand more, and it didn't even come in until the last few years of their life. That works out to $500 more a year, or $40 a month. That's all you're going to get if you live to be 80 years old. And that's dividing that $10,000 you made more over 18 years. You only collected for 13 years, and I collected for 18 years. But because you could have collected for 18 years, I'm dividing the $10,000 that you're ahead by the 18, because that was what you were able to collect. So by waiting, you ended up getting $500 more a year over 18 years, and $40 more a month. That's pitiful. I mean, that's just crazy that anybody would want to wait to get hardly anything different, and you may not even live to see that difference. So that's proof right there, folks, that collecting your Social Security and working a little side hustle and making plenty of money to live on with no overhead, getting debt-free, and most importantly, living your life so that you can just, have freedom before you get to be too old, before you have heart attacks, before you contract something, before your hips wear out, your knees wear out, before your attitude changes. You can get a lot more into your golden years and look back with no regrets that you did the right thing. Because everybody that I know that started collecting at 62, I haven't met anybody yet that said, if I could do it over, I would have waited and got $600 more. Because they're still ahead than they would be if they're not 80 years old. They're still ahead. So get your money at 62 and start crushing it.